Do you really know what happens inside your cat's body when you feed wet food every single day? Most owners think it is just a better meal, something tastier or more premium than dry food. But the truth is, it goes much deeper than that. It's changing how their body works, how their organs function, and even how they feel throughout the day. Once you understand what is actually happening, it may completely change the way you think about feeding your cat. The first change begins almost immediately, and it starts with something your cat has needed all along: hydration. Have you ever noticed that your cat barely drinks water, even when the bowl is clean and always available? It is not laziness, and it is not pickiness. It is instinct built into their biology. Cats evolved as desert hunters. Their ancestors survived by getting most of their water from the prey they consumed. Because of that, their natural thirst drive is very low compared to most other animals. Their bodies were never designed to depend on drinking water separately throughout the day. This becomes a problem in modern homes, where most cats are fed dry food with very little moisture. Dry kibble usually contains around 10% water, which is far below what their body naturally expects. Wet food, in comparison, contains around 75 to 80% moisture, almost identical to natural prey. So when you begin feeding wet food every day, something shifts quickly inside your cat's body. Their hydration levels rise without them needing to drink more water. Their kidneys no longer have to work as hard to process concentrated waste. Their urine becomes more diluted, which supports a healthier urinary system. This is especially important because urinary issues are one of the most common health problems in cats. Your cat may not show obvious changes in how much they drink, but internally, their body is no longer running in a constant state of mild dehydration. And this single change is what allows everything else on this list to work properly. The next change is something many cat owners struggle with but rarely fully understand: your cat's weight. Have you ever wondered why so many indoor cats gain weight easily, even when you are not overfeeding them or giving extra treats? It is not just about how much food they eat, it is about what that food contains. Dry food is often high in carbohydrates, sometimes reaching 40% or even higher depending on the brand. But cats are obligate carnivores, which means their bodies are designed to run on protein, not carbs. They do not process carbohydrates efficiently, so instead of being used as energy, much of it gets stored as fat over time. This is why weight gain can happen even when portions seem reasonable. It is not a discipline problem, it is a biological mismatch. When you switch to wet food, this balance begins to change in a way your cat's body actually understands. Wet food is naturally higher in protein, moisture, and significantly lower in carbohydrates. This combination creates a very different response inside your cat's body. They feel full faster, and more importantly, they stay full longer after eating. Instead of constantly looking for more food, their body begins to recognize that it has had enough. Studies have shown that cats fed wet food are more likely to maintain a lean body condition over time, even when they are allowed to eat more freely compared to strict portion control diets. That is because protein triggers a stronger and more natural satiety signal than carbohydrates ever could. Your cat is no longer eating just to chase a feeling of fullness. They are eating until their body actually reaches it. You may also notice a shift in how they behave around food. Less pacing, less begging, and less urgency at mealtimes. Everything becomes calmer and more predictable. So, if your cat has been gaining weight and nothing seems to work, it may not be about feeding less or restricting more. It may simply be about feeding in a way that matches their biology. But the next change is something you can actually see with your eyes, often sooner than you expect. The next change is something you can actually see, and it often shows up faster than you expect: your cat's coat. Have you ever noticed how some cats have soft, glossy fur, while others feel dry, rough, or dull no matter how often you brush them? It is easy to assume this is just about grooming, but in reality, it reflects what is happening inside their body. When nutrition is not balanced, the coat is usually the first place it shows. Dull fur, excessive shedding, and flaky skin are not just cosmetic issues, they are early warning signs. Wet food provides high-quality animal protein and essential fats that directly support skin and fur health. These are the building blocks your cat's body needs to maintain a healthy coat. Dry food, even higher quality options, goes through heavy processing that can reduce some of these nutrients. So even if the label looks good, the usable nutrition may not be the same. When you switch to wet food, many owners begin to notice visible changes within a few weeks. The fur becomes softer, shedding starts to slow down, and the coat begins to look smoother and more vibrant. That dry or dusty texture some cats have gradually disappears. This is often the first visible sign that your cat's internal health is improving. But there is another change that many people misunderstand or simply accept as normal: your cat's behavior around food. Does your cat rush to the bowl, eat too quickly, or act desperate even right after finishing a meal? Most people assume this is just personality or excitement, but in many cases, it is actually a sign that your cat is not feeling truly satisfied. Dry food digests quickly and does not create a strong or lasting feeling of fullness. So your cat eats, but their body still signals that something is missing. That is why they beg, pace, or wake you up early in the morning looking for food. When you switch to wet food, this pattern often begins to change. The higher protein and moisture create a more natural sense of satiety. Your cat eats, feels full, and no longer feels the need to keep searching for more. Over time, this leads to calmer behavior and less stress around feeding. Mealtimes become quieter, and your cat becomes more relaxed overall. But there is one final thing you need to understand. And this is where wet food can quietly cause problems if you are not careful. Wet food does not behave like dry food once it is placed in the bowl. The moment it reaches room temperature, bacteria begin to grow. In some environments, this can happen within 1 to 2 hours. If your cat eats slowly or leaves food and comes back later, that food may no longer be safe. It may look the same and even smell normal, but harmful bacteria are not always noticeable. The safest rule is simple and important. Do not leave wet food out for more than 2 hours. If your cat has not finished it, it is better to remove it. Any unused portion should be stored in the refrigerator and used within 48 hours. It is also important not to serve wet food cold straight from the fridge. Cats prefer food that is closer to body temperature because it feels more natural to them. Warming it slightly can make it more appealing and easier for them to eat. Wet food can be one of the best choices you make for your cat's health, but the benefits only work fully when you handle it the right way.